How did you get to know Dr. Kizza Besigye?
Dr. Besigye, I've known him for a very long time from school days when I was in Kigeza College, I think at Kigeza High School. But you know, we come from Rukunjiri. And then later on, to know him better is when we came into the movement. Because I was a cadre trainer, I was an NRM activist, he was a national political commissar, and so I interacted a lot with him, both as a Rukunjiri person and as a movement leader.
How is it like to move along in this political season without Dr. Kizza Besigye as a figurehead of your formation?
Oh, it's terrible. First of all, Besigye has grown into an idea because of his credibility. Credibility is about a person who believes in himself, who espouses ideas, good ideas, and markets them to the constituents. And once the constituents believe in them, they together work to get them fulfilled. Our leader is aware. My leader is aware. And a lot of things cannot go well. First of all, Besigye has ideas that he has developed over time about this country, for which he has suffered variously, including today. And one of those has been the democratization process. Number two, that we should have a country that works for all of us. Number three, which I imagine could also have variously caused him trouble, was the emerging state capture by the family of our former leader, Mr. Museveni. So all of these make him missed. And so without him, definitely, a lot of things are not well done. Besigye told us long ago, and I think after 2016, that these elections will not cause a change. And people know it. But those people have agreed without telling the public that, well, if we can't change the system, we see how to deal with the system. And that wouldn't be Besigye. Without him, the democratic forces, those people who want to change, are orphaned. And throughout my engagements in politics, I've not found a leader that has that capacity, that patience, that commitment, that love for the people, sacrificing for them. I haven't met him. Therefore, his absence is very big loss to the democratic forces.
How are you coping?
It's difficult because, one, Besigye is such a person that even when you don't like him, when he talks to you, you cannot defeat his sense. We have not grown that capacity, unfortunately.
How long would you want to take to groom leaders to carry on the mantle?
Because of the politics that we are running now, it takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of time to build your personal capacity. I was a co-trainer with the Conservatives of Britain and also with the Irish, the Republicans and the Democrats. Those institutes have been around, and I used to co-train with them. One time we were training in Mbarara, and when they heard that there was a training in a hotel, people just came in from Mbarara police to arrest us, that it was an illegal assembly. It took the British High Commission and Latigo at that time to remove us from Mbarara police.
Who is Dr. Kizza Besigye as a politician?
Besigye is a person that left his profession and joined this process, looking at a better Uganda. Fortunately, he comes from the breed, from the era where Uganda was better to begin with. It goes into Idi Amin, it goes into Botetu, and it goes into the bush. Besigye has hated dictatorship. Besigye likes servant leadership, where the people who lead us are employees. That's what he wants to be. In fact, many of our colleagues have been getting problem with him. Some of the things that we think should be summarily done, he says, no, it's not about us. It's about the people. If the people say they want, we have an idea. If the people say it's not a good idea, for example, Besigye does not believe that these elections are useful. He doesn't. Besigye is a leader in his own category. Given the so many years, you can imagine how many leaders have interacted with, how many have worked with in the employment, in where, and very rarely do you find a leader who is also a manager, meaning he will have big ideas.
Describe for me Dr. Kizza Besigye away from the politics, who he is.
He's a humble man, down to earth. For us, we used to call it committing class suicide, but for him, he seems to enjoy it naturally, because some people they commit class suicide in order to impress. But basically, that becomes his nature. In fact, if you relate with him very closely, you'll find that there are very many times when you don't talk about politics at all. You are talking about your farming. He's talking about how he wants to grow a dairy. That's basically. He's a person who can best do what we call multitasking.
Some people describe him as someone who is actually very aggressive, short-tempered, and sometimes he would love to vent anger. In fact, that's how some people look at him. What do you make of that?
No, I don't think so. I think they misunderstand him. First of all, Besigye does not pretend about evil. He doesn't pretend about evil. And so sometimes when he talks about it, about the things he thinks are not going well, some emotions come. At one time I saw him shedding a tear. But
What was the sit? Why was he shedding the tear?
no, he was talking about people who have died. He talked about his brother Msase, and he talked about people who do not know that what we are talking about has cost lives. And he shed a tear. And to know that he's not venting anything. This transition, which is marketed, which we have marketed for a long time, is not a transition from just Mr. Museveni to another leader. It is about system changing to be systems which serve the people than serving themselves and leaders.
You got to know him when you were still in school, isn't it?
Yes.
Who was he? How did he used to behave?
Jolly guy. Jolly
Was
guy.
he?
You know, they are born in the...
Was he one of those people who used to lead strikes? Was he, what kind of student was he?
Well, that because we're in different schools, I don't have those details. But from the time of UBM, I've known him. No, jolly man, jolly person.
Without Dr. Kizza Besigye, what's the future of PFF?
PFF was born walking, but to run will need hard work, more time. And for me, I want to emphasize training. You need to train leaders. to equip them with skills. You need to get people who are informed. You need to get people to understand what is at stake in politics, in the communities. What do you want the country to look like? What is it that you are asking them to do? Currently, that environment is difficult to achieve. One, resources. Two, whether you can be allowed that latitude to go in the population and do that training. But also people want quick solutions now. People are just jumping on things that make money for them.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wycliffe, for according us your
Thank you,
time.
Sudhir. It's been a long time.